We've heard a great deal now about the predicament that the world is in. And it is time to turn to a different emphasis and to begin to consider what can and must be done to respond to this threat. Professor Daniel Pipes will speak about Israel and clear victory. He is one of the foremost spokesmen on these issues in the United States and around the world, the director of Middle East Forum, which seeks to define and promote American interests in the Middle East, defining U.S. interests that include fighting radical Islam in all its manifestations, violent and nonviolent, stealthy and open, working for Palestinian acceptance of Israel, improving the management of U.S. democracy efforts, and related matters. Dr. Pipes is a former official of the U.S. Department of State and has taught in many American universities, including the U.S. Naval War College and Harvard University. Author of 12 books on the Middle East, he's received 2 presidential appointments and has served on 5 presidential campaigns. How many won? In any case, it's a long battle, and please welcome Daniel Pipes.
Yes, American presidential candidates will always lose if I'm an advisor. This round I was an advisor to Rudy Giuliani. I'd like to thank Dr. Eldad and the organizers of this conference for this important event. I'd like to begin slightly off topic. My topic is the Arab-Israeli conflict, but I'd like to make an initial statement about Islam and radical Islam. Note that there are 3 interpretations in the West of who the enemy is. One is terrorism, the second is Islam, and the third is radical Islam. Now, I doubt there are any representatives of the first viewpoint in this audience today, or anyway, among the speakers. But we divide the speakers between our interpretation that Islam is the problem and radical Islam is the problem. We agree on the enemy, we disagree on the solution. It's an important disagreement. I'm not going to go into the details, it's not my topic. But I think it's very important that those of us who disagree, whether it's Islam or a form of Islam, do so respectfully and congenially, because we are allies, we are friends. We need to keep that always in mind. We're not so numerous and so strong that we can afford to fight and waste time, internecine debates or harm. Debates are fine, but doing damage to each other. It's important that we work together. I am of the school that it's radical Islam, but I believe it's important to have a full airing, and I respect those with whom I disagree. That said, I'd like to turn to the Arab-Israeli conflict, and I come here in humility because I don't normally come to the capital of Israel to speak about the Arab-Israeli conflict. But I do so for some reasons, in part because I'm convinced that the Israeli government and people have lost their way. Because the U.S. government is such a major factor, and I'm a U.S. foreign policy analyst. I cringe when Robert said I'm a former State Department official, but it's true. And because so many other foreign analysts come to Jerusalem and tell you what they think, so why shouldn't I? My topic is Israel and clear victory, and I'd like to structure my talk around 4 terms: Arab rejectionism, lost country, victory, and change of heart. By Arab rejectionism, I'm pointing to what I see as the key to the conflict. It's not about Zionism, it's not about Jewish sovereignty. From 1911 forward, when the first Arab violence against Jews, Zionists, took place, close to a century ago, it's been about Arab rejection of Zionism. The goal of rejectionism has changed over time. It once was plain destruction, prevention and destruction, but now it's much more subtle. It's called elimination. In other words, the enemies of Israel don't necessarily want to destroy Tel Aviv, they want to inherit Tel Aviv. Israel's challenge is unique. Israel's challenge is multi-pronged. The ideology that is no longer suitable today. It's racist, ethnocentric, and so forth. I would argue to you, ladies and gentlemen, no other contemporary state faces such an array of dangers, and I would go further, speaking as a historian, say that there is no state in history that has faced such an array of challenges. Now, the enemies of Israel have, over this past century, premised their enmity on different bases. My specialty, I wrote a whole book on this, is Pan-Syrianism. From a century ago until 1945, the major ideological basis for rejecting Zionism, Jewish nationalism, was Pan-Syrianism, seeing this land as southern Syria. It's not forgotten, but it was very important. Pan-Syrianism was the ideology. From 1945 to 1967 was Pan-Arabism, symbolized by Gamal Abdel Nasser. The first one would be symbolized by King Abdullah of Jordan, the second by President Nasser of Egypt. Pan-Arabism. The third was Palestinianism, the idea of the Palestinian state, symbolized by Yasser Arafat. And that was from 1967 to 1987. And since 1987, increasingly, the main adversarial movement has been the notion of the Muslim Ummah, so from southern Syria to part of from Greater Syria to Arab nation to Palestine to the Ummah, to part of the Muslim world, from Pan-Syrianism to Pan-Arabism to Palestinianism to Jihad, which is where we are today, Jihad. But it hasn't always been Jihad. It's always been existential, but it wasn't always Jihad. In 1920, 1940, 1960, 1980, it wasn't really about Jihad. It's now about Jihad. It might change. So it could be a fifth variant on this same theme. But the constant has been a rejection of Israel as such, the Jewish state as such. What's striking is that throughout this period, from 1920 to present, there has been a small but distinct and important minority of Palestinians who do accept Israel. The term of art that's given them is collaborators. I think Israelis might find another more benign term. That is the one that one finds universally used. They've never been in power, but they've had a very important role. It was they who sold the land in the early days, and it was they who then and now are supplying intelligence. Why is it that there's so few terrorist incidents that work, that succeed? Because of some of those 20% who accept Israel as a Jewish state. That's very important. It's not all Palestinians. It's a major majority, but it's not all. That's number one, Arab rejectionism. Two is lost country. From 1948, to start with the origins of the State of Israel, not before, from 1948 to 1993, for a 45-year period, the Israeli leaders had a stunning record of strategic insight and success. They saw victory as the goal. That is to say, Arab acceptance of Israel was the goal. And deterrence was the method to convince the enemy that he cannot go on, cannot prevail. And this was achieved by establishing a reputation for toughness. Israel is tough. Ariel Sharon made his reputation in the 1950s with Unit 101. If Fedayeen came in from Egypt, Jordan, or Syria, the Egyptians, Jordanians, and Syrians heard from Ariel Sharon. And eventually they stopped the Fedayeen. That was the basic premise for that 45-year period, with some exceptions, of course. It was an extraordinarily successful period for Israel. Went from the nascent, weak state of 1948 to the powerful state of 1993. It went from the state that was assumed would be snuffed out at birth to the state that was respected and feared in 1993. The state of Israel was on